today's webinar. We're excited to provide another overview of the National RTAP eLearning online training portal and to highlight the newest addition, the Substance Abuse Awareness course. Before I turn the webinar over to my colleague Neil Rodriguez, we're going to do a quick poll to get a sense of who on the webinar is already familiar with the National RTAP eLearning system. So I'm going to launch this poll, if you bear with me. So if you can vote here to let us know if you've already registered on the National RTAP eLearning training portal, or if you don't remember, that is fine. We're just going to leave it open until a few more people have voted. So just vote so we have a sense of who's on the line today. All right, we'll leave it open for another few seconds. All right. We're at 90%. Good enough. I'm going to close the webinar and share the results. So it's that's pretty ridiculous. It's evenly split. It's a tie.
Wow.
So that's a pretty exciting way to start off the webinar. I am now going to introduce Neil Rodriguez. I'm going to hide the results and go back to the presentation. Neil is a project manager here at National RTAP, and he manages the e-learning system and oversaw the substance abuse awareness training project. And Neil's going to do the webinar today and give us a demo. So take it away, Neil.
Thank you, Liz. Hi, this is Neil Rodriguez, project manager, National RTAP. And before we get into the presentation, I'd like to just clarify that this is not a drug and alcohol course. This is an overview of our new course, in case anybody was confused about that. And also on the line is Robbie Sarles from RLS Associates. Her and I will be available at the end of this webinar to field and answer questions that come in. So our agenda today, we will do an introduction, Robbie, myself, and then our e-learning portal will do an overview of our e-learning, National RTAP. We'll go over registration. And then we'll talk about teams in the system, how teams are designed, and how learners are added to teams. And then we'll do the overview of the Substance Abuse Awareness course. And I kind of will jump into that right now. So our e-learning portal, okay? Welcome to the e-learning portal. This is when you first log in, to arrive on this screen here, and you'll see the upper right-hand corner, there's a login, if you already have a login. If not, there's a registration button. You fill in the form, and you press register at the bottom, and you get added to the system. And if you don't already have a team created in the system, you submit this agency request form. And fill this form out, send it to us. We create a team for you in the system, and then you get an email and you can log in. So you land at the home page. Okay, so this is the e-learning portal, National RTAP eLearning. See here, I am an admin, and this is why I see this admin tab here. But basically, pretty easy to use. You have a couple clicks. You can click onto the courses. You can add learners if you're an admin. So here's what the team looks like in the system. So created a team for National RTAP. You can see when we look into learner management, see all the learners on our team. And you see myself here, and Rodriguez is the team administrator. And okay, so the system, your team's ready to go. And your team admin is selected. Admin can add learners to the system pretty easily. You go to this team administration, you click add user, fill in their user information, click Add User, and your team member has been added. So there's some resources that we've included on the website, on the e-learning portal. We have some learner guides. The Getting Started guide explains how to create your teams and manage your teams. They're also on the handouts that Liz described. And then we go into the course modules that are available. You see in our course list, we have several of the National RTAP products already converted for use in the system. Some of the most popular are the to-the-point trainings. Just to give you some numbers, the system has been around just about 1 year. We have 225 teams registered in 44 states and Puerto Rico. So right now there's over 1,200 users using the system. So we're getting a lot of traffic. So yeah, we have to-the-point training. Start Online right now is a link to a different system at CTEL. But in the very near future, it will be added to this LMS, and we'll have our users will have direct access to the system. One thing I forgot to mention, is that when you first register for the LMS, you're going to create your username and password, and this is totally different from the National RTAP Cloud. You know, sometimes people get confused and think the password don't work. This is a separate system, so just keep that in mind. Top Shops is a very popular course as well. It's highly interactive. You know, there's several modules, and you know, a manager's online course as well. So I encourage everyone to look into that. And then the one we're here to learn about today is the substance use awareness training. So they said, why are you guys doing a substance use awareness training? So, okay. Because they tell us we have to. Because in the 49 CFR Part 655.14b states that covered employees must receive at least 60 minutes of training on the effects and consequences of prohibited drug use on personal health, safety, and the work environment, and on the signs and symptoms that may indicate prohibited drug use for safety-sensitive employees. Well, the FDA defines safety-sensitive functions as the following, and they're listed here. I'm pretty sure most people are aware of these, as they're required to be in your policies. So, with that said, jump back into the course, and see here's the intro page, and this training module was originally developed by Oregon DOT in partnership with RLS Associates, and it was hosted on the transittrains.com website that is no longer up. So when we got word that this training module was going to be taken down, we said, hey, we can use this training module in our LMS and make it available to rural and tribal transit agencies. And we said, great. So the team at RLS shared all the information with us, and we basically recycled it, reused it, repackaged it, sort of enhanced it, gave it some higher level interactions, and hired some consultants to actually do that work. And it was a good project. But so here's the module. Let's jump right in. So open it up. And you can see the course is split up in 2 modules, and we did that because we wanted to have the second portion of the training module to be timed, and we wanted that it was complex programming to get that to work right. So we did that. So module 1 is basically explains why the training is important, gives some background on the regulations. I'll open it up for you. Instructions on how to use the course, you know, beginning of take your time in there. You must take a minimum of 1 hour to receive credit for the course. Basically, the course overview, what regulations, and a little description on the second module. And then some stuff about safety-sensitive employees again, emphasize the FTA definition of safety-sensitive. So as you can see, these are PDFs and they pop up. The user should take time to read them and fully get familiar with all this stuff before they open up the second module. It'd be really helpful to help them get through the training time portion. So it explains on, type of testings that require more resources for government hall testing. And a link to some resources, regulatory citations. It's really important stuff. So then go through that. And then there's a little section at the end of here that provides some information on alcohol and its effect on driving. See, these are somewhat interactive. And then, some information. And this portion is not timed. It's just added on to the course. And some audio. So you should have an audio. Speakers check for volume. There's also closed captioning. That's section 1. I think I closed it. Oh, no. Okay. So once you've completed the first module, the learners are able to take the second module. There's a prerequisite condition selected, so you can't access module 2 after you complete module 1, and also you cannot open the substance abuse certificate until you've completed module 2 in more than 60 minutes. So I'll launch that and let everybody look at it. Sorry, it's a little slow. This is webinars take a lot of bandwidth, I guess. Before we start, to hear this course, make sure your computer's audio is turned on. To read this course, click the closed captioning button at the bottom of the screen. You can see here at the bottom right, the timer has begun. So we're actually being timed. Like I said, we emphasize that, please pay attention to the timer and don't finish it before 60 minutes. Take your time. There's more than enough information and links to resources to go over. It should take more than 60 minutes. And there's videos to watch. Just be aware. So this is what our dashboard looks like. So there's basically 5 sections: 1 on cocaine, 1 on amphetamines, 1 on marijuana, opiates, and phencyclidine. And each of these modules open up separately. Like see our timer is still keeping track of time. There's a hidden table of contents at the top here in case you want to go back. If you've passed sections already, you want to go back and review. You go through, basically click on different things. Pops up information about the various drugs and their effects. Effects on driving. Cocaine has many negative impacts, and it's designed so that the users can click, at their own pace, but still take their time and go through. There are quizzes included, and users can stay on the page and click away, click back, and go back in a section and go back to that one. So then you get to the effects on the body, short-term effects. So each section is pretty much designed this way on the effects of each individual drug. And then we have these other sections with more information, more facts. And all this information, like I said, it was used before in the previous version that lived on the Transit Trains website. We did not change the content. We just added some interactive activities and color and graphics. So get to the quiz and you submit. Click anywhere to continue. And the quizzes are designed that if you get a wrong answer, you get to try again. So you get to try again, and then you figure it out. So like I said before, you can go back and review the other screens, and then let's go back to the dashboard. It's not letting me. Oh no. Okay, well, I'll just close that. Well, you see, so basically, yeah, the
maybe it doesn't let you jump around, Neil, because you're in the quiz.
I think that's what's happening. Yeah, I think so. I've never tried to do that before, but yeah. So you must complete the quiz, and then you can go back and review and do all that. So that's funny. But yeah, so you're in the quiz, you get out of the quiz. Unfortunately, if you stop it like I just did and you have to restart it, it doesn't keep track of your time. So be careful of that. And I encourage everybody to just don't jump around the quiz. Just stick in the section, complete it, and then you'll see on the dashboard right here, when you complete each section, you'll see each one will turn a color, and then you'll know you completed them all, and then you can then go and review the different sections. But again, there's closed captioning included here. Have your volume on and let it work. I don't know if anybody can hear that.
No, we can't hear the audio.
Okay, good. Well, okay. Well, so that's the basic overview of the course. I said, when you get done, you'll see the little circle on the left side of the icon there will be green, and you're able to launch your certificate. So you can see here that I took the course and completed it in May 24th, 2016. And it shows the time requirement on the left, 60 minutes, and I completed it in 1 hour and 35 seconds. So that's on my record, and I can download that, I can print that, or it can stay there on the LMS. And when I need to access it, I could go back and I click back and open it again. Maybe we hear sometimes the learners lose their records and they need to go back in. Well, it'll be back. It'll be on there until their account goes away. But and there's other ways to access the training too. Is like the training records. It's like I am an admin here, so I can access reports. So I look on my team. Say I already defined one. Say learning folder, learning detail. This is the one I want to select. And I want to select the substance abuse awareness training. I want to select my team. And I want to select all roles. And then I want to select generate report. I'll get a report. Uh-oh, didn't get a report. It's because probably nobody on my team has completed the training, but yeah. But the individual learner will have access to their own transcript. As you can see here, I toggled mine. It's showing the courses that I've taken and passed and completed. It shows the duration it took me to take them. And then it shows the other courses that I've taken, the to-the-point trainings I've completed, I'm in progress. And each team admin will have access to the transcript for their learners on their team. And I think that's strong reporting ability, and they'll stay in the system as long as their team's active and their learners are active. So it's pretty good. And the other courses, so yeah. So another good thing about the substance use awareness training is that I've done this 1 year ago, and they say, well, you should probably take a refresher training. I could take it again, and my certificate will automatically update to the new date that I completed the training. And we also, National RTAP also has the to-the-point trainings included in here, and they're sort of the refresher trainings to the big trainings. And we do have one on drug and alcohol that's actually very popular. I think it's being used by many transit agencies out there. So this is a lot easier and simple, probably take no less than 20-30 minutes to complete. So just basically like flashcards, some quizzes. Yeah. And then, of course, your records get updated so you can see that the learners on your team have completed it, or, you know, the learners themselves can keep track of the transcripts by this tab right here. And I'm showing that I have not attempted, I'm in progress for updating the, for taking the to-the-point drug and alcohol training. So it's a strong reporting tool. I encourage everyone who is interested to have a team created and have their team admin read the Getting Started guide that's attached as a document of this webinar. Definitely it's a pretty detailed instructions on how to create and manage a learning team and how to access reports and things like that. So, and also, if you ever need any questions, you can reach us at eLearning at nationalrtap.org. So, okay, and here's our contact information. There's a link to the eLearning portal right here, elearning.nationalrtap.org, and our email address, elearning@nationalrtap.org, or directly to me, N. Rodriguez, at nationalrtap.org, and here's Robbie's. Right now, I think we can open this up to questions.
Okay, great. Thanks, Neil. We do have a few questions that have come in, and just a reminder that you can submit questions now through the questions part or chat box of your control panel. So let's see. First question that came in, when you register a new user, will they be able to access the training right away?
Yes, they will. And also, I think I might have mentioned that when you create a team, your user's not required to have it be on a team, but it's actually good for us to manage the system. But it's also good for their agency if they have a team and and they want to track their users. But if a individual wants to get on and sign himself up, he could be like a learner at large and will be a member of a team, and they will have access immediately to all the courses that are on there.
Great. So who should be signing up for a team? Who usually does that in an agency?
Usually it's the transit manager themselves, or there's a training person who's in charge. We've worked with some places like counties who had sub-grantees, contractors, and they created teams for them, and they kind of manage those teams, and they manage the users on those teams. Some of them are quite large. I have like 86 people in one county and like 7-8 teams with multiple drivers who are accessing training through the eLearning portal.
Can there be multiple administrators for a team?
Yes, there can. However, so use that carefully, because it's like having too many cooks in the kitchen. Something gets changed and deleted, and we can have as many as you need, but yeah, definitely. And you can also, like I said, if you have multiple departments, we could create sub-teams for those departments under your team. So if you have like I explained with the counties, with the contractors, we create as many sub-teams for your team as needed. But I'd recommend just keeping it simple and having everybody on one team, especially for small agencies.
How do you change the admin person, the team admin?
How do you change the admin? Okay, that's a good question. Okay, let me pull up again. Change the admin person. So I'm an admin. I go here. and I see my team, and I right-click on this icon, the learners, select Learner Management, and then I select somebody. I'll pick Mr. Jerry, and I'll assign him as a Transit Manager Admin. So now Jerry has all the admin access like I have, and you can access all the reports. And it's pretty simple, and if you want to change them back, you just right-click on it, click on it again, select None, Update, and he no longer has access to the admin functions.
Great, thanks, Neil.
Yeah.
Other question about Teams. When registering, it asks for an access code. Where do you get the access code?
That's if your team has been made. And when we create your team, we provide it with an access code. And we send an email back to the person who requested to have the team made, and they will have the code. So basically, like each team, if you look at if you right-click, if you're an admin, on the team icon, you'll see team access codes. So you haven't created one for National RTAP team yet. That's pretty simple to do. And then click Update. Now, uh-oh. Oh, the name, yes. So there's my new access code for National RTAP team.
Great, thank you.
You're welcome.
Is there a cost for access of this LMS?
Actually, there is not. The cost for the users is free, completely free, but there is, National RTAP pays for all this stuff to be available for the 5311 Rural and Tribal Transit Agencies, courtesy of the FTA.
Correct. And yeah, we had a question, what about 5310 agencies? And at this time, we're not limiting who can use the training. If it becomes, a cost that we can't manage, then maybe we will address that. But at this time, we are open to, we know a lot of 5310 and, are also 5311 recipients. So it's open at this time to.
Yeah. And I believe those teams with the multiple sub-teams, they're 5311, 5310, contractors. So, yeah.
2 questions. And, Neil, I know that this has sort of come up before. So can this be taken as a group? If so, how do you get certificates for all?
I'd say it could be taken in a group setting, but I would say that in lieu of getting certificates, I say you could probably print out, we've had this in the past, and I think the way we can address that is we can upload a blank certificate in the resources and then have the training manager responsible for putting on the training in the online classroom setting. I wouldn't, I'd have to run it, you'd have to run this by the program managers, but I imagine that if you had a sign-in sheet for the classroom, or they had the training manager sign off on the certificate after providing a classroom, the online version to the classroom. That's what I would think. But maybe, Robbie, you have a suggestion, or maybe you can help answer that one?
I believe that's probably the best approach. And so that way, just as long as that whoever is providing the course is monitoring time and make sure that everybody stays there and is engaged for the required time, then it would be up to them to then sign off on it and provide that certificate.
Great. Thanks, Robbie.
Yeah, great. Yeah.
Let me see. Can we use this training for other safety-sensitive drivers? I would say yes. If you're a transit agency, then we're happy to have you use this training for other types of drivers.
I imagine this is talking about probably maybe not transit or other transportation, maybe?
Yeah, I'm not sure. I mean, at this time, we're not, we do, during the sign-up process, ask you to list your organization. At this time, we're not limiting it, but as we mentioned previously, to specifically 5311 providers. But ideally, you'd be related to public transportation.
Yeah.
Let me look through questions. Okay. Hold on one second. Does it track the number of guesses before getting the correct answer on the quizzes and/or the time it takes to answer questions to indicate if someone is purely guessing versus actually reading the material?
Oh, good question. Let me see if I can pull this up. Sorry, I have all the webinar windows that are blocking my view. Okay, so you see here when I click on the transcript, and I clicked on the training that I completed in 1 hour and 35 seconds. Click on that. Okay, passed or failed. It tells me the details of the duration it took me. And sorry. Any of my details. So here, the magical page. You can go by question, you can see what their answer was. You can see the duration it took them. You know, either they're really smart, answering in 1 second, or they're not really thinking, and they know the answer. So yeah, we can do that. We can look into the details of how they completed the training and how long they spent in there. Yeah.
Great, thank you. And I think you already addressed this, but if you aren't a member of a team yet and don't have an access code, then do you just register without it and go from there?
Yes, you just register without it and go from there.
So you would
and
just register.
You can just register, and we can add you to a team if your team isn't created yet, and then it gets created later. You can add you to that team, or you could, like I said, you can just be solo and not be a member of a team.
Yeah, the access code on the sign-up sheet is not required, but if you have one from your manager, then you would put that in so that you could be put into the correct team.
Yes.
Another question about teams. Not sure if we have a team agency set up. Who can we confirm with, or should we try and create another agency request? And on the last slide, which we'll bring up again in a moment or right now, is the National RTAP eLearning email address, which is the, if you have any questions about the learning management system or your account, email elearning@nationalrtap.org, and we can look up your team and assist you with anything regarding your team. I didn't quite catch the following. This is a question. Can you review the sessions multiple times prior to taking the alcohol and drug supervisory training quiz? Neil?
Yes. Yes, you can. I think we showed a good example up there. Well, once you started the quiz, it was hard to go back, but maybe the system's acting funny right now. But yeah, you can review all that. You can take the module over and over. You can close it, and then you get back in there, and then you can review it again. And even after you completed each section, you can go back in and review them again.
But just a reminder that you can't close out the module if you haven't completed the 60 minutes. It will not reset to 0. So, and also to clarify, this isn't a supervisory training. This is the substance abuse awareness training for safety-sensitive employees, not a different type. I think there's another drug and alcohol training about reasonable suspicion, and
Right.
this does not cover that.
Right. We have actually a link on the LMS to some FTA resources on that training. It's not an LMS course in our system, but we have the PDF of their guidebook and their video. So we have reasonable suspicion training for supervisors. Said it's not a training module in our system. It's just their learning guide. Explaining requirements of the training, and then the video that's 22 minutes long.
Okay. How often do safety-sensitive employees need the substance abuse awareness training?
Robbie, you want to try that one?
Okay, the regulation only requires that safety-sensitive employees have this training once in their tenure with the transit system. I think most people would consider that a best practice would be, more often, and that refresher training would be provided. But the regulation only requires that a safety-sensitive employee have this training once.
Right. Thanks, Robbie. I also remember seeing something about states having their own requirements. Each state might have their own separate requirements.
Yes, it is possible that various states may, go above and beyond the FTA regulation and may require additional training. That you'd have to check with your own specific state DOT if you're a 5311 system to make sure that you are aware of that requirement.
Okay. So they just asked again if we could go over the process of getting an access code.
Yeah. So I would invite them to go to the elearning.nationalrtap.org, click on the agency request form, fill in that form, and press send. That's if your team isn't already created. And if it is, just send an email to elearning@nationalrtap.org, to elearning@nationalrtap.org, and just ask us, what your team's access code is, or if there's one, if they need a team. We can look into it pretty quickly.
Yeah, we had another question about whether if someone who set up a team before left the agency, just contact us to see if you already have a team set up and we can get you added and make you the team admin.
Yeah.
And a question came in, do you have an additional section on over-the-counter drugs?
Right now we do not, but I heard that we may want to. On the previous O.RLS website, I think, Robbie, someone mentioned to me that they were looking at expanding it at some point, but I don't think that happened.
Yeah, that's always a point of interest, and so I think that obviously if there's interest in that type of training, we'll see what's available, and we can look to the future for that. But right now, it's not included in this particular training program.
Quick question we can answer. Someone asked if there is a limit to team members within a team, and no, there is not a limit. Another question, why is the 30-minute alcohol training required to be completed before the 60-minute drug training can be started?
From what I understand, the alcohol section is just an additional section in the Module 1. It's a 30-minute requirement section, and it was just added to that initial training. And it has to be separate from the drug training, the time portion.
Right. And it said 30 minutes, but that's estimated, and there is important information about the course within that module so that the learners understand about how to use the 60-minute timed portion. But it probably won't actually take 30 minutes to go through the that first module.
Yeah.
Before an agency signs up, is there a list of what learning modules are available? On the home page of the LMS, before you have to log in, there is a list of the courses available. There's also a list available on the National RTAP website. On the training tab, there is a National RTAP eLearning tab page that lists the current courses available, so you can see there before you log in. What length of time if a team is inactive before their records are removed?
I think if they're just inactive, they're inactive. They're not, unless they get deleted. I think we're not deleting anybody, right? That we don't have to. And if they're inactive, they can remain inactive. And once they sign back up or sign back in, and they're active again, their records will still be available. So if you took the training now and you have been active for 9 months, a year, and then you decide, oh, I've got to do that training again, and you log back in, you're considered active again, and then you have access to all your records. You just got to keep in mind that you got to know the username.
Yeah, I'll just add that, again, the National RTAP eLearning portal has launched a year ago, so we're still in the early stages of managing this learning management system, or LMS, and we are not at this time kind of purging or deleting any inactive users. We may need to do that at some point, but we will give all users and team managers a long heads up so that they could download any certificates they need, but that is not at this time. So don't worry about that, but we would give you a good notice if we need to do that in the future.
Yes. And just some statistics. Right now, I just checked today, and we've awarded close to certificates in the system since we've gone live. Not just alcohol drugs. This is all the courses that we have available. The courses where you get certificates.
Great. Yeah, and it's it's a slow process to get these interactive trainings developed, so stay tuned. We'll continue to be adding more to the LMS, and if you have any requests or suggestions, we'll take them into account as we develop courses over time and convert trainings that we already have into interactive trainings as it makes sense. Does anyone have any other questions? We still have about 15 minutes if there's anything else people would like to learn about the system. Otherwise, we can wrap it up.
Okay. Well, thanks, everybody, for participating, and we look forward to creating your teams, assigning your team members, and helping you access this essential training module.
Yeah, just note all of our contact information and let us know if you have any questions or any further questions after the webinar. We will be posting this on the website, and check out the other the handouts. We'll be posting those as well. So,
yes, right. And everyone, there were some questions on here, Liz, specific about user admin names and things like that. If they could just send those emails to the eLearning at National RTAP, we'll get them there and we'll have them addressed.
Yeah, any questions or issues with your account, let us know at elearning@nationalrtap.org. Okay, thank you everyone for joining us today, and we look forward to working with you and having you on another National RTAP webinar soon. Have a great rest of your day. Thanks, Neil and Robbie, so much for being with us.
Thank you.
Thanks, Robbie.
Thanks, Liz.
You too.